Albert Park, Melbourne is a magnificent sight on the first race day of the year. We're counting down to the start of F1 2001.
G'day from the ITV studio. It is great to have you with us. Very well done for getting up or staying up. Nothing beats seeing the action live. Bit more cloud cover here today, but it's still very warm indeed. Temperature around about 22 degrees. All week in Melbourne they've been making a real fuss of Murray Walker as he starts his last commentary year. Murray's going to pop in and join us along with his old mucker Sir Sterling Moss, but already in situ in the studio. Tony Jardine, all set for another year. Hi Tony. And Mark Blundell. New face, but very well known in Formula One circus, ex-F1 driver. Now, Mark, we've seen Michael Schumacher there taking great chunks out of Häkkönen's pole time last year. Does the speed they've been going here surprise you?
It does surprise me by how much, but you know, you're going to get that. Reduced aerodynamics, so less drag, and a tyre war, but nearly 4 seconds faster than last year, and this is only the first race. I'm gobsmacked.
Yeah. What do the drivers feel? They fancy that?
Oh, they love speed, obviously, that's what it's all about, but the most important factor is balance. You know, you can have as much horsepower, you can have as much speed at top end, but you need to get the power on the ground.
I'll tell you, one team have got the power on the ground very quickly. I mean, forget Ferrari, McLaren and Jordan.
We've had this austerity programme, you know, they were gutted last year if they dropped so far down, and they've really worked hard, kept very, very quiet, a lot of investment, a lot of change of staff, and Eddie says what he wants to do is do what he did 2 years ago and surprise everybody. So far they've done that. We've got to see if the car in race trim is as good as in qualifying, where it's fourth with Frentzen. Great start. OK, our first job, though, is to bring you right up to date with all the changes that have taken place in the world of Formula One since Michael Schumacher won in Malaysia back in October. A tyre war is actually already starting. We've got a special feature coming on that in a few minutes' time. Lots of other changes, but continuity at the very top.
Ferrari are this year's leaders of the pack and finally have the cherished #1 on the car. They've worked hard on development over the winter, and world champion Michael Schumacher has been vocal about how good the car feels. Rubens Barrichello joins him for another season and is keen to add to his first race win in Germany last year.
McLaren are on the offensive for the first time since '98 after losing both titles to Ferrari last year. Melbourne marks the team's 100th race with Mercedes power, whilst Häkkönen lines up for his 6th consecutive season as teammate to David Coulthard, the longest-running driver pairing in Formula One.
Williams were best of the rest last year and will be disappointed if they don't pick up a win this year. Ralf Schumacher stays for another season and is joined by Indy 500 winner Juan Pablo Montoya. There is tension between the two drivers, but they both say they'll do their talking on the track.
Benetton line up fourth for one final hurrah before the outfit becomes Renault in 2002. Giancarlo Fisichella starts the season in a positive frame of mind, but reliability could prove an issue in the early part of the year. Williams refugee Jenson Button should give Fisichella a run for his money.
British American Racing start the season in 5th place on one of 2 Honda engine teams. Frenchman Olivier Panis, who last raced for Prost in 1999, is back in Formula One after a year testing for McLaren. He will be pushing his teammate Jacques Villeneuve.
Jordan slipped right down to 6th last year, but are hoping the Works Honda engine will power them back to winning ways. Heinz-Harald Frentzen has been putting in some impressive times over the winter, as has teammate Jarno Trulli. The battle between the two Honda-powered teams could prove one of the highlights of the year.
Experienced Dutchman Jos Verstappen starts his 2nd season with Arrows, who have yet to score their first Grand Prix victory. He's joined by former test driver Enrique Bernoldi. The team will be using the old Peugeot engines, rebadged as Asiatech.
Sauber have taken a bold step this year with 2 of the youngest drivers in Formula One. Nick Heidfeld moves from Prost to become the experienced member of the team. Newcomer Kimi Räikkönen from Finland will be under very close scrutiny. He makes the giant leap from Formula Renault into Formula One with just 23 single-seater race starts under his belt.
Jaguar has slid down the grid to 9th place. Former test driver Luciano Berti is promoted to a race seat, replacing Johnny Herbert, who's now testing for Arrows. Former world champion Niki Lauda comes in as senior manager of the programme, while Eddie Irvine is once again the #1 driver.
Minardi have taken on 19-year-old Fernando Alonso, the third youngest man ever to race in Formula One. He joins Tasso Marquez, who last drove for the team in '97. Australian millionaire Paul Stoddart stepped in just weeks ago to save the little Italian team.
Prost start at the tail end of the grid this year, but their customer Ferrari engines are a real asset. And over the pre-season testing period, Jean Alesi set a new track record at Barcelona. Alongside him is Gaston Mazzacani, who comes with 1 year's experience from Minardi.
Winter form not reflected in qualifying for Prost, Alesi and Mazzacani well down the back. But Tony, headline in the morning papers, shoe shine.
Yeah, I mean, he's always shining. I mean, his helmet, I think, was a bit shiny upside down because we had on all the papers around the world with pictures of Shuey upside down. But he's just showing that over the winter, despite having the pin out of his leg, despite starting late, he was holidaying in Norway with his family. I mean, he's on it straight away. He came back testing late, and he's proved to everybody, I'm still hungry, because some of the teams were hoping that he wouldn't be after 3 championships. Maybe he'd go off the boil slightly. Has he? After accidents, after big disputes over his helmet, there is the guy going out there 3 laps at a time to take provisional pole, as we just saw there.
That was setting the pace early on. What about your old team, McLaren, though, Coulthard and Hakkinen? Are you disappointed the way they've gone so far?
A little bit disappointed, yeah, but I know those guys are working very, very hard. They will be back. You know, don't underestimate McLaren, Mercedes-Benz. They're a strong team. Ron Dennis is at the head. He's going to make sure that they're going to get back to winning and get back to producing the results they need in qualifying. And that's where a little bit short already at this start of the season. But, you know, they will be at the front.
Rubens Barrichello was up on the podium here last year when he made his Ferrari debut, and he seems to fancy his current Ferrari strongly.
I think everybody thinks Rubino is just such a wonderful guy, so popular. Everybody loved it when he won in Germany last year. A lot of people around the world watching were crying with him on the podium. It was just sensational. But he is such a smooth driver. But, you know, he just got the pole position there just by 1,000th of a second from Michael Schumacher. And then out comes Schumacher and does him. I think Marky knows how that feels.
That's a big deal for a driver. I mean, it's demoralising. Just think about it.
But this time was absolutely astonishing compared to Hakkinen's pole last year.
Yeah, it was. But what we're also going to remember, the guy's coming back from a big crash, and this was a car that the Ferrari mechanics spent all night rebuilding. It had been over 3 times, rebuilt it, put it all back together. And to go that fast, nearly 4 seconds, is absolutely amazing. Stunning.
Jordan have been very low-key in the winter. Eddie said no Christmas party for the workforce after last year's season.
No puddings.
Nay, nothing.
They're all too fat.
Nay, nothing. But Heinz Harald Frentzen, who goes well in Melbourne, is in good shape for the race.
Well, this is great. You've got to watch this because he got up to 4th place with this lap here. They had a very outlandish car last year. They really pushed out the boat. This year it's a combination of fast, yes, but also a bit of reliability. Whispers in the pit lane that this was almost a perfect lap. And afterwards, Frentzen said, look, I've had to keep quiet until we're into competition. He said, this is a great car.
He said it's the best Jordan he's certainly ever driven. We saw in our opening sequence Michael Schumacher's world turning upside down, and Luciano Berti, the Brazilian, had a moment yesterday in the Jaguar.
It was a big moment as well. I mean, big impact, but the guy was a passenger. There's nothing he did wrong there. Either a tyre let go or suspension. You see the right front unloads, the rear left dips down. He's going to hit the wall in the biggest possible way.
Not his fault, but as a driver in a car like that, does it shake your confidence a bit?
I think it may with him. He doesn't have that much experience. I mean, somebody like Schumacher, no, he's been on his head, he's fine. But Berti, pressure's on his shoulders already.
Sure, let's hear what Luciano Berti himself made of that accident. Here he is chatting to Louise Goodman.
Talk us through the accident. What did you actually feel?
Just hitting the wall. It happened so quick. 1 minute I was turning to the corner, the next minute I was crashing to the wall. So until I saw the replay, to be honest, I wasn't sure what had happened. But looking at the replay, you can see that something was wrong. The front wheel is in the air, so it means that the rear suspension or the rear wheel broke. But after that, you're just a passenger and just wait until the car stops, and that's it, really.
Are the team going to be able to fix the car okay for tomorrow?
I think so. I think the tub itself is okay. So, you know, I think they have enough spares to fix it, so it should be okay.
They did fix it okay. Berti 18th in warm-up, Irvine up there in 8th, and Hakkinen and Coulthard quickest in the warm-up session this morning. Jaguars all set to go here in Melbourne, where they made their Formula One debut last year. Okay, let's find out the other drivers' reactions, shall we? Starting with the odds-on favourite, the Red Mist Man.
There's only one first position and we have that, so we're quite happy on that. But I always keep saying in the past that qualifying is one thing, racing is another thing, and we have to show tomorrow we are reliable and we're in the same position.
I lost one run because I went wide, example, in the first corner because the car was just not handling correctly. So we need to have some serious talk and serious work to be done for tomorrow.
The car suits me better than last year's. I'm feeling good about it, and you know, I've already tested with full tanks. Goes well.
Even from sixth place, if I can score a couple of points, and that will have me ahead of the last 2 years. So obviously my sights adjust considering the grid position.
Fastest Michelin runner and a stonking final lap from you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great lap. I think we got the best out of it today, although it's not quite enough from what we want to achieve, that's obvious, but from what we have started yesterday and what we've seen yesterday, I think we can be pretty happy about it.
This first race is always, you know, a lot of people, there's a lot of failures normally, so hopefully we can be one of the people that are at the end of the race, and I think we can, so it's quite positive, and we'll see what happens.
I mean, I'm pretty happy and confident that we have a good car this year, much better car than last year. And I'm comfortable that we are having a very good season this year and closer up to McLaren and Ferrari.
I think we can have a good race. A bit disappointed for qualifying where we start because the car had a lot more potential, but we'll see what happens.
Starting in third position, I think it's a good place, one sense, to start this Grand Prix because you started behind the pole position, and that's the most important. So you have a more or less clean start of the circuit, so that's a good thing.
They haven't really used the maximum performance out of the car yet because there's no reason why they shouldn't be close to us because we know they are good and we know they will fight back. So I don't feel now too secure and feel that's it. I know very well how quickly things can change.
It's top of the grid though. Tony, take us through it.
Well, first Aussie pole for Schumacher in 10 attempts, and an all red front row for the first time since Monza last year. And Häkkinen talking about a very messy qualifying session, but prefers to be the hunter now. Frentzen very happy with his car, as he said. Ralf Schumacher, top of the Michelin runners there. Coulthard alongside him in 6th place. Messy for him as well, all over the place on the grass. Truly disappointed with 7. Villeneuve the first of the BARs, and as expected, pushing him hard, Olivier Panis. Heidfeld making his swap now across to Sauber from Prost. He's happy with that. Grand Prix rookie Montoya there, who was blocked by traffic, but he'll be up alongside Irvine. Räikkönen there, he's done another rookie. He wanted to be in the top 10, but he hasn't quite made that, just outside. Verstappen, Button having maximum aggravation at the moment. The car not going right at all, but still ahead of his teammate Fisichella. Important psychologically here. Alonso, 4th of Grand Prix rookies there alongside Mazzucani. Luciano Berti suffering after accident, and Tarso Marquez only on the grid after dispensation from the organisers when Paul Stoddard went to see them outside the 107% rule.
Thanks very much indeed, Tony. Now let's just check out, shall we, the ramifications of that tyre war last year at Bridgestone. And a clear run. They always buzz us over the studio here in Melbourne. Get used to that. And now Michelin are back in the fray. Speeds, as we've been saying, have increased dramatically. 18 cars, would you believe, qualifying quicker than Häkkinen's pole time last year. And those cars also have a very different look. Here's Louise.
Speeds which the tyres will produce this season, the FIA has introduced a number of changes to the design regulations aimed at slowing the cars down. The front wing will be 50 millimetres higher, and the teams are restricted to running a maximum of 4 elements on the rear wing. The overall effect will be a significant reduction in downforce. There are also some new safety rules. Each wheel must now have 2 tethers to prevent it flying off in case of an accident, and padding has been added inside the chassis here to protect the driver's legs. The crash tests are also much tougher this year, resulting in a car that's around 20% stronger than last season.
We came into this weekend talking about a tyre war. So what have we learned so far? Well, it looks as though it's first blood to Bridgestone. They have the edge in qualifying, and it looks as though they have the edge in the race as well. The tyre war has made the cars 4 seconds a lap faster than last year, and this trend looks set to develop as newer and softer rubber comes on stream. Now, the Michelin tyres performed reasonably well in qualifying. Ralf Schumacher 5th, just 0.8 of a second off the pole. Not bad for a first effort, but where they are struggling is in race conditions. Look at this. This is a front tyre that's come off one of the Williamses. You can see this graining here, lots of rubber coming off the tyre. That's high tyre wear issue, and they're going to have a problem with that this afternoon, much worse than the Bridgestones, so they will struggle. It's going to be a tricky race for the Williams boys, and they'll have to watch the left front tyre particularly carefully through the long right-hand corners. Ideally, drivers want to do a one-stop race today, with as long a first stint as possible. The longer you stay out, the more places you pick up. Last year, Ralf Schumacher went from 11th place on the grid to 3rd by stopping on lap 38 of 53. But if a fast car is caught in traffic, watch out for a switch to a two-stop strategy, as successfully attempted by Rubens Barrichello last year en route to 2nd place.
If the noise of the cars around Albert Park wasn't enough, these fellas turn up the old volume a bit as well. The F18 fight of the Royal Australian Air Force Roulettes. Spectacular sight, and they really put on a great show here in Melbourne over a 4-day period. And that's what's making the racket above our studio here at trackside. Mark, what about the speeds that they're going at the moment, the drivers? I mean, do the drivers themselves want to go faster and faster and faster?
Well, it's just natural that you always want to go faster and faster as a driver, but I say the most important factor is not just terminal speed, not acceleration. It's all about getting that compromise between power, speed, balance of a race car. It's no good having as much speed as you know, the next guy is. He may be 20 kilometres slower than you, but he may be 20 kilometres quicker through the corners, and that's what it's all about. It's putting that lap together.
Tony, just briefly, will the authorities say this is too fast, we're going to have to do something else to slow it down again?
They'll be monitoring the situation very carefully, because Max Mosley, I mean, he has a remit to make sure that speeds don't become too excessive. And therefore, he has said in the past, if they get too quick, I'll think about putting another groove in the tyres. If that doesn't work, we'll think about going to an all-treaded tyre, like a road car. And he will certainly be watching very, very carefully.
OK, I know lots of you out there like a flutter on Formula One. Here are the very latest odds from the bookmakers. The Ladbrokes, Schumacher evens to retain his championship and odds on to win today. And really, they see just 3 drivers in with a chance of being champion of F1 2001. And Jensen and Eddie Irvine, the British drivers, right down at the bottom, 80 and 150 to 1. OK, then very shortly we're going to be joined by 2 living motorsport legends and a young man who might just reach that status a little bit down the line. We're going to be keeping a close eye on him on and off the track.
Craig Pollock, this Grand Prix last year, BAR scored points for the first time. Jacques Villeneuve started 8th on the grid, finished 4th. He's 8th again today. Are you confident?
Well, we can never say overly confident. We think we've got a reliable car like last year, and we've got 2 drivers who can really be up there. So maybe with a little bit of luck, we can try and get 1 place better.
I was just looking up at the sky when we had that air display. There seems quite a lot of moisture up there. Are you worried that might come down on us this afternoon?
Well, it came down on us this morning, but it was very light, and they've announced that it's going to be better weather in the afternoon, so I'm not really worried about it. If it rains for everybody. Good race.
Okay, thank you. Best of luck.
Thank you.
12 points. Today, it's his first race in a 2-year spell at Benetton, and we caught up with Jensen testing and as he packed his bags for the new season.
I've got my suit, which might come in useful. Cuddly Toy. It's my lucky mascot that my girlfriend got me for my birthday, so I better take it with us or I get shot. The whole package is a bit behind what we expected at this time of the season. But then again, it is quite difficult coming in with Michelin being new in Formula 1 and Renault coming back in. It was always going to be difficult. But I think it's more long-term we're looking anyway, so I think towards the end of the season it's going to be a lot better, and hopefully we'll get some good results then. Toiletry bag. I think we're all sorted now. Yeah, fitness is great actually. I've always hated fitness. I've always done it because I've had to. And when I got told I had to go to Lanzarote on the 2nd of January for 5 or 6 days training, I was like, whoa, no chance. I'm not going to last that long. But it was really, really good fun, and we were training about 5.5, 6 hours a day, and it was. I really enjoyed it. It's quite unusual. Passport. 5 minutes back. Don't be late.
How are you getting on with Giancarlo?
Good.
You're going to be revving each other up this year?
I hope so, yeah. I hope so. I think that's what pushes you forward anyway. So hopefully we'll be pushing each other really, really hard. Just hope he's not too quick, because he's pretty quick. Quicker than I thought he was. So it's going to be good. I'm looking forward to it. It is going to be tough in Melbourne. I mean, nobody knows what to expect in Melbourne because I haven't driven the circuit on Michelin's. So it is difficult to know. But from what I've seen, as I said, I think they're doing a great job, and the tyres are looking good. It's just, we'll wait and see, I don't know. Cool. See you in Melbourne then.
Just come through the door of our studio here, Sir Sterling Moss and Murray Walker. Welcome both. Do you have any cuddly toys in your motors when you drove round?
No, I didn't actually. There wasn't that much room. No, I always carried a little horseshoe.
Really?
But, yeah. But the trouble with doing that, the trouble is that if you haven't got it with you and anything goes wrong, then you know why. So it's not really a good idea.
Murray, what do you make of Jensen Button? It could be a testing year for him this
Well, I've always said, Jim, that no matter what happens to Jensen this year and next year, it's good experience. He started off magnificently last year. Being at the bottom of the heap this year, which he is at the present moment, isn't going to do him any harm at all. It'll harden him to the realities of Formula 1, which he may have missed a bit last year. And when he goes to another team, he's going to be even stronger.
Michael Schumacher, we've spoken about a lot here today. I just wanted to show you 1 or 2 little pictures of Michael Schumacher's victory ceremony last year. Just keep your eye on the plate that Michael Schumacher is getting from Steve Bratz, the Premier of Victoria. Schumacher raises that above his head. Now, how'd you get that then?
Jim, this was one of the 3 most emotional experiences of my life, and the other one has been today. It was at the Grand Prix ball. Ron Walker, who is the boss of it all, invited me to come. And when I got there, Prince Michael was there, and I was called up onto the dais to receive this, which is an exact replica of the trophy that Michael Schumacher and the others before him have had. To say that I was overwhelmed is putting it very mildly indeed.
Can you believe that this is going to be the last year?
I think it's terrible. I'm hoping he'll change his mind again. I can't do without it. But if he doesn't change his mind, you've got to come to the races. I mean, this week you've got to.
Well,
you have to have him.
I think it'll be difficult to keep me away.
That's good.
When this is my 53rd year of commentating, and I was at the first British Grand Prix in 1949 for the BBC in those days. And when you've had a lifetime of it, you're not going to break away from it.
It's fair to say, Murray, I think there aren't too many people in Melbourne that don't know you're here. I mean, from the moment you stepped off that plane at the crack of dawn, you got the old red carpet reception there, and a very nice reception committee, I'd have to say. That's you at the grand ball where you received this fantastic trophy. And, well, I didn't walk around with you anywhere because you got mobbed wherever you go around the circuit, and this morning for you, great moment.
This was the other most emotional experience of my life, because so many times, Jim, I've looked at the Grand Prix drivers' parade and thought how marvellous it was, and talked about it. I never in my wildest dreams imagined that I would be part of it, but they put me into the last car today, and the reception I got was absolutely overwhelming. Marvellous.
There'll never be another Murray Walker.
No, there won't. That's but you may be starting at the back of the Grand Prix today, you know. That'll really shake you up.
Can you remember when the Grand Prix circuit first came to Australia?
Oh, well, yes, I remember when I was first here for the Australian.
You won it. You got a stand out the back.
1956, yeah, not a very good stand, actually. It's rather on the straight.
Well, it might be a bit rickety by now, I do think.
No, this was 56, and we ran the other way around on the park as a park.
Right.
And, of course, you couldn't run the modern Formula 1 car on it anymore. I mean, it was too narrow, but it was fabulous. I mean, 100,000 people came out here. I mean, this is the centre of sport of the world, let's face it.
They say that if a couple of flies are crawling up the wall in Melbourne, there'll be 100,000 people cheering them on. And it's not much of an exaggeration.
Were there a few misgivings about Australia?
Yeah, I think in a slightly superior way we thought, well, Australia's on the other side of the world, you know. They won't really know how to do it. But when we got here, it was absolutely mind-blowing, because they'd formed committees and sent them to all the other Grand Prix to find out how to do it, and then they'd done it better. And nobody does it better than Australia, and very, very few people get within a whisker of doing it as well.
OK, Murray, let's just tune into your older memory bank, shall we, and look back at your Aussie memories, starting with Adelaide in '86.
It was fantastic. Adelaide was brilliant. The organisation and administration was superb, and the enthusiasm was overwhelming. Australia immediately became the #1 Grand Prix, and the racing was sensational. Who'll ever forget 1986?
And look at that! And colossally, that's Mansell!
1989 was one of the wettest races ever. Alain Prost withdrew after one lap, and after Ayrton Senna hit Martin Brundle, he was out of the race.
Senna is only got 3 wheels. My goodness, Senna is out of the Australian Grand Prix.
In retrospect, 1993 was a sad occasion, for it was the great Ayrton Senna's last Grand Prix win, after starting from a record 65th pole position.
And Ayrton Senna wins in Australia to the delight of his fans.
1994, victory at last for Nigel Mansell. And like Senna's the year before, it was to be his last in Formula 1.
And Nigel Mansell wins in Australia. Fantastic!
But what 1994 will always be remembered for was the dramatic and contentious collision between Michael Schumacher's Benetton and Damon Hill's Williams, which resolved the World Championship in the Germans' favour. Was it deliberate? Judge for yourself. In 1996, the race moved to Melbourne. Albert Park had been transformed into an inspired location, with Australia now the first Grand Prix of the year rather than the last. A superb battle between Damon Hill and his Williams teammate, new boy Jacques Villeneuve, and a second successive win down under for Damon. Then in 1998, a truly dramatic conclusion, when McLaren's David Coulthard, about to win for the second year running, yielded to teammate Mika Hakkinen almost on the line. What an outraged political uproar that caused. And now the Ferrari years, 1999, Eddie Irvine's first win, and last year when Michael Schumacher started the World Championship as he meant to finish, by winning.
Schumacher wins, fist out, victory salute.
16 years of drama and pure joy, with great racing at great circuits, in a great country.
Expecting more...
Nothing biased about me, Jim.
No, I know. No, I know. You're expecting more champagne. The tourist board like that, by the way. You'll always get a trip here. More champagne for Schumacher today, Murray? What are you expecting?
Well, it's easy to say, Schumacher, Jim. If he does, it'll be his 5th win in succession, and only Nigel Mansell, I think, has done that in the past. Yes, you've got to say Schumacher, but everything can happen in Formula One. Like I say, it normally does. I wouldn't mind putting a few bob on Frentzen.
Really? Sterling?
Yeah, Frenson's a good outsider. I don't think he's going to win, in truth. I really don't. I think Rubens is in there as well, and he's going quickly. Mika's all fired up, but will he make it? I don't know. This is what's good about this race. We've come to find out things. How good is Montoya? He went like hell this morning.
Sure.
You know, and so there's so many things we're going to hear more about, I think.
We've heard the cars going round on their installation lap with just over 20 minutes to go to the start, and I know, Murray, you want to get away up there very quickly. Don't worry, you'll be there. You'll be in good shape up there. And there is Schumacher just giving the Ferrari a little blowout before the start of the Australian Grand Prix. 22 degrees and rising here. The start just over 20 minutes away. Murray, I mean, you've had some old week, but now you've got to do the job, old chap.
My worry up to now, Jim, has been being able to do the work. I'm supposed to be getting around talking to people. So many Australians have been talking to me that I haven't been able to talk to the people who matter. But I shall try.
I'm sure.
As Rubens Barrichello says, I will do my best.
He will do his best not to disappoint you, I think, which you said. Final thoughts, really, from you, Sterling, as a real pal of this fellow. It is going to be his last year.
I really am very, very disappointed. I think he has given more to motor racing than anybody else, along with Ferrari, in my mind. I think what he's done for motor racing is why there's so many people follow it, because you can't not be infected by him. That's the point.
You've got to go and go to work now. Thanks for joining us, Murray. And
well done.
Look forward to throwing over to you very, very shortly.
Take your ashtray.
No, but that's excess baggage. I'm not taking it home for you, all right? Well, it's a fantastic event, this one here in Melbourne, Albert Park, just about my favourite venue. I think they're going to get a total of 400,000 people through the gates here over the 4-day period, and right down there, in the middle of all the hubbub, we have Louise Goodman.
Hi. Hello, Jim. Atmosphere definitely hotting up down here. Can't say the same for the weather. It's a bit overcast today, but I guess you can't have everything in life. I couldn't think of a better place to start the Grand Prix season than here in Melbourne. It really is a fabulous race. The organisation is second to none. The facilities are great. We're always made to feel very, very welcome at this race. Melbourne loves Formula One as well. Fantastic support here today. About 130,000 people expected for the Grand Prix. A lot of them are going to be cheering for Ferrari. You can probably see over in the grandstands a few red caps and T-shirts. Minardi very popular this year as well, of course. They've just been bought by Paul Stoddard, an Australian, so they've been adopted as the Aussie team. As always, though, it's Jordan who are attracting the celebrity fans. Ross Kemp, popular face to many ITV viewers. Now, you've been to Barcelona, you've been to Silverstone as well. This is a very long way to come for a Grand Prix, though.
Absolutely worth it. It's got a wonderful atmosphere, this place. Everyone's having a great time, and it's worth the trip.
As always, you're cheering for Jordan. You're a big Jordan fan, aren't you?
Yeah, I love Eddie Jordan very, very much. He's a wonderful man that's always got time for everybody. I think they're the best partying team, without a doubt, and I think we'll have a good old time tonight, whether we win or we come second or third.
Is that why Eddie attracts the celebrity vote? Because they're the party team?
Oh, definitely, without a doubt, but that's afterwards. Now, it's all very serious down there. The atmosphere's building up, and as I said, it's worth this journey just to be lapping up this wonderful atmosphere.
Now, very briefly, I understand that you may well be doing a bit more than supporting the Jordan team this year.
Yeah, it's sort of up in the air at the moment, but I'm hoping to be donning one of those gold fire retardant suits and maybe getting involved with the team. But as I said earlier, we don't definitely know whether that's going to happen or not, but I'm working to try and get my way in there somehow.
Well, if it does, we'll be there to record it. For the moment, though, back to you, Jim.
Thanks very much indeed, Lou. Now you see him, now you don't. Quick.
So what we've morphed into. There's no moss on this chair.
No. Quick chair, not bad. Quick change and you're back again. Talking about the Jordans down there, as we have already, there's another team that we should just run the focus over, and that's Jaguar. You weren't with us last year, Mark, but they arrived with this great blaze of publicity and then really fell flat on their faces. But a guy called Bobby Rahal is now trying to pull things around, and you know this fella pretty well.
No, Bobby very well. We've driven in kart against him, and previous winner in Indy 500 and many things. But don't underestimate Bobby Rahal. He's a very sharp businessman. But it's not only Bobby just at Jaguar now. We've got Nicky Lauda coming into the field. I mean, we've got some very powerful names.
I mean, drivers taking over teams hasn't actually had a 100% success rate, it's fair to say.
Not yet. You know, Bobby at Jaguar, Alan Prost at his own team there, but I think it will happen. Eventually, I think those guys will get it right, and you know, there's some very sharp minds at the head of those companies.
Yeah, there's Nicky Lauda chatting to Eddie Irvine here in Australia. Do you think that the Jaguar were a bit embarrassed, perhaps, about that blaze of publicity when they came in? And then
Don't you mean Jaguar?
Oh, yeah.
That's what it morphed into last year.
Jaguar,
nah,
then.
They were embarrassed. They've got to re-establish their reputation. We all know that. And Bobby Rahal is a no-nonsense guy. He knows what he's doing. But he's already had run-ins in the team. He made some sackings at the beginning of top engineers and mechanics. That upset Eddie Irvine. You know, Irv shoots from the lip as usual, and he criticised the team for that. He was rebuked by the team. And arriving here, he said the team was slow. So he's had a slap. He's had another slap again. But, you know, he is in a sort of twilight of his career, according to Bobby Rahal. So he's got to deliver now, and he's got to be dedicated.
Yeah. OK, thanks to you both. Let's have a word with Michael Schumacher, shall we? Pole sitter, last year's winner, reigning world champion, going for his 5th victory in a row. That sequence started back in Monza in the autumn. Here he is then talking one-to-one with Murray.
I first talked to you at Spa in 1991, 11 years ago. Is the fire still burning?
Oh, very much. I mean, you know, the simple words I should use for that is I'm simply born to race. And it's a natural ability I have to put the car on the limit and enjoy it. I want to compete, I want to race, and I don't know how long. Naturally, one day it will be over, but I see that day being far away for the moment.
Now, well, it's 5 years between your 2nd World Championship for Benetton and your 1st World Championship for Ferrari. Now, 5 years in your young life is a long time. Do you feel the investment was worth it, all that waiting to get there again?
I don't think you should look at it saying it's worth it or not worth it. Simply say that it was my best life, my best years of my life, honestly, because even though there were tough moments, but the good thing is if you come out of tough moments and you have good moments and finally deliver a championship, it's simply the best. And no, I don't want to miss that time.
Now, years ago, after Senna had won his 3rd World Championship, I was sitting talking to him and I said, you've got all the money in the world, you've won umpteen races, you've won championships. What is the motivation now? And he said, bigger numbers. Is that your motivation?
No, I wouldn't say that, because the numbers don't change very much. It's simply, you know, when I'm sitting in the car, when I drive, when I put it on the limit, it's what I love to do, and I enjoy it. And I mean, what is better to do? There's nothing else which I could enjoy more than driving a racing car. And I'm too young to stop and retire and sit in the chair and smoke a cigar and drink wine at home. That's too early for me.
But it's early days in this year's season. We haven't even had the first race yet, and it looks pretty obvious that, again, it's going to be between you and McLaren. But what are the prospects that you see in terms of competition from the other teams?
Obviously, you've seen Jordan being quite competitive today, although you never know how much fuel quantity they run around with. But at the end of the day, I think it will be a championship fight between the 2 teams you mentioned, as last year. But the teams will be closer, and I've said many times that we will have to, or we will find out more teams being able to score victories.
Do you see more of a threat from Coulthard this year than you did last year?
We'll find out.
I think the answer to that is probably a negative. No worries so far for Ferrari or for Michael Schumacher. It's been a stroll in the park. Let's wander down the grid now, shall we, with Martin Brundle.
Thank you, Jim. Hello, everybody at home. Congratulations if you stayed up or got up early this morning to see this first Grand Prix of the season. Here we are on the grid. Michael Schumacher's just cruised on very, very late. Did very few laps this morning in the warm-up. and had a problem with a brake disc bell apparently, so a little bit of drama. A lot of unknowns on this grid today. I don't believe a Ferrari has finished a complete and true race distance this year, and nor has a McLaren in my view. So if any of these two teams win the Grand Prix today, I think it'll be a first for those cars over the line and a complete race distance. But anyway, Michael's here. Poor old boy, just over £500,000 a week he earns, and he's come all the way around the other side of the world to put a show on for you. I talked about those unknowns because there's 5 drivers on this grid that have never started a Grand Prix in a normal Grand Prix grid situation. And a lot of those youngsters, if you watch my grid walk from time to time, you know that I often have a job finding drivers because they're off to the gents. They preload so heavily on their with the water, but this year's going to be very embarrassing. We've got so many young kids. It's going to be all the parents finishing off the potty training, I think. Some of these guys are so young. But I don't know if I can just squeeze in on Heinz Haraldair, who's had an excellent performance in qualifying. Fourth on the grid, talking to his Bridgestone engineer at the moment, and of course tyres are a big issue today. New Bridgestones, new. Patrick, can you have a quick word with us about your man Patrick Head of the Williams team, of course, your man Ralph there in 6th position, pretty spectacular qualifying, and how are those tyres going to last today?
Well, I think it's easier to tell you after the race, but all the predictions say that there should be no problem.
Okay, and reliability, because some of these guys in front of you might not be too smart on that.
Well, you never know. No team really knows how well they're going to be off until you've got through the first race. So if you are overconfident about your reliability, you're probably going to get a bad surprise.
All right, when Heinz Haraldair was driving for you a few years back, he flew off the road with no brakes towards the end of the race while leading in one of your cars. Is brakes a drama here?
Always far too hard on brakes.
Oh, was it? So it's no problem today then with brakes?
Our predictions are that they're okay, but with the data you get in practice never truly represents the race conditions. So we'll be monitoring the brake wear during the race.
Okay, and one stop?
It'll be 1 or 2.
Okay, thanks, Patrick. Let's have a wander down, see who else we can find. So you've got Ralf Schumacher then in 6th place. I wanted to speak to Eddie Jordan. He's had a stonking weekend so far with Frentzen and Trudy. Looked like he was really going to get the job done as well. So Jordan and the Hondas, and there's a big scrap between the two Honda teams. And let's see if we can interrupt. He's with... yes, that's going to be rude, I think, to interrupt on that one. I think we'll save that for another day, because I'm sure Edmund is going to have plenty to say when I'm sure Edmund's going to have plenty to say at other times. I'm not going to go down there because all the drivers are now in the car. We're really, really late on the grid. Let me just see if I can catch Coulthard down at the front here. Is DC anywhere to be seen? Yes, he is. Okay, here we go. Let's have a final word from DC. DC, sorry to interrupt you, old buddy. How's it going? How's it looking?
I think the basic pace of the car, balance-wise, this morning was quite good, but obviously I'm out of grid position here, really, from qualifying, so it's going to be a little bit difficult to leapfrog the guys in front.
Can you win this race from here?
With reliability issues you have the first race, yes. In a straight race, I would say unlikely.
Well, you think the Ferraris are going to scamper away?
I think that they're looking pretty good through practice. They've been setting the pace, and we've been playing catch-up, and they've got a clean track, and I've got BMW and a Jordan in front of me.
There's a few million British mates there watching and wishing you good luck. Thanks a lot. Back to you in the studio.
Yes, good luck to David, winner of our first ITV race here back in Australia. you're back with the ITV F1 team on an overcast but very warm autumn day in Melbourne. 23 degrees the temperature. We're about to see the first chapter in the new Grand Prix season. Settle back and enjoy the Australian Grand Prix now with Martin Brundle and Murray Walker.
And from Melbourne, Australia, good afternoon to everybody. It's a fabulous day here, as Jim has just said. It is overcast, but notwithstanding that, the track temperature is 28 degrees. The conditions are just about perfect, and there's a massive crowd here. There's going to have been over 400,000 people watching one part of the Australian Grand Prix or another. The practicing on Friday, the practicing yesterday, and that riveting qualifying session we had yesterday when Michael Schumacher put his Ferrari on the pole position of the grid for the 5th race in succession. I think only Nigel Mansell has done that in the past. And Michael Schumacher, there he is, has won the last 4 races. Rubens Barrichello, his teammate alongside him, and Mika Häkkinen, the man who's won this race in 1998, double world champion, only 3rd on the grid. And my tip is, if the Ferraris and the McLarens do not do well, you've heard Martin talking about the fact that there are reliability questions hanging over their head. Watch Heinz-Harald Frentzen.
Yeah, I think Frenzen's got a good car underneath him. What the 2 Ferrari boys will be worried about on the front row of the grid is, for sure, Rubens will not want to be fighting Michael into that first corner. We know Michael is not an electric starter normally, excuse the pun, but I noticed down on the grid slot where Michael is, there's been a 3-way competition thing involving last year's Williams, and there's a lot of rubber on the grid. So Michael's got a good slingshot out of that pole position. But the pair of them will be very conscious that Mika Häkkinen there in 3rd place is a brilliant start. And if they try and choreograph too much, that first and indeed the 3rd corners, Häkkinen will be there, I think, to punish them. So looking forward to seeing what happens at the start, right at the very front. And I think mid-pack, as I said, a lot of new drivers in there, and it's very high speed, the first section of this lap, and you're away, you're soon up to 180, 185 miles an hour before you've even reached turn 3. You've been to 180 miles an hour probably twice already, and it is very easy, as I know to my own cost, to trip over somebody on the first lap of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, just a reminder about Michael Schumacher not necessarily being a good starter. He got punted off twice at the start last year in Germany and Austria. It cost him dear. It didn't cost him the World Championship in the end. But there are so many different things this year, and there is one of them. Ralf Schumacher in the Williams, powered by a brand new BMW engine, which seems to be very, very effective indeed, and riding on Michelin tyres. Now there's a massive tyre war going on. Bridgestone have understandably got the whip hand at the present moment because they've had 3 years experience of the kind of tyres that the cars are on now, and you can see the heaters coming off.
Yes, it's surprisingly hot and muggy out there considering how overcast it is. As you pointed out, the track temperature already, Murray. I'm told that the cloud cover's only a few hundred meters thick and there should not be any significant rain, maybe just a little bit of spitting of rain. So we're not expecting the weather to interfere too much with this race, according to the forecast anyway. Coulthard, as he said on the grid, is really at least a line out of position. He was fastest on all through up till Saturday morning, fastest again in the warm-up this morning, had an appalling qualifying for one reason or another, mistakes, red flags, traffic.
We worked hard over winter about that, and as you see, it worked out well, very well. I was quite pleased about this. Then I just tried to split my race into a kind of rhythm to be fast when I had to be fast and not overdrive the car when it was unnecessary. Obviously, we then had the safety car situation, and unfortunately, we just been told that the marshal did die, and obviously we're all shocked about this, and we have to look at what is possible from our side, what kind of support we can give, but certainly everybody is very much down for this situation.
Michael, thank you, and David, a quick word from you.
Well, obviously the overriding
story of the race is, as Michael's just mentioned, the fatality of the marshal, and I think on behalf of all the drivers, our thoughts go to him and to his family. And we need to obviously study how we can improve track safety to these people who give their time for us to enable us to go racing. That to one side, I had a fairly straightforward race to pick up 6 points, but you know that seems pretty insignificant when there's a loss of life involved.
Thank you, David. And finally, Rubens.
Well, I mean, it's always, you know, to score some points to begin with is quite good, but you know, we're definitely not happy just because what Michael and David said. It's very bad when a colleague that is there for you, you know, happens to be in an incident like that. So my thoughts are all with him and with his family, and I think there's no way that we can make up for this race.
Thanks, gentlemen. Perhaps just a word in your own languages from Michael and Rubens. Thank you, Michael.
Tja, waar gaat het nog om als er iemand om het leven komt bij een Grand Prix in de Formule 1? Want dat is dan toch het geval. Ze hebben het net gehoord, vertelde Michael Schumacher. De Marshal is inderdaad overleden. En dan doen die punten er allemaal niet meer zoveel toe. Dat zei David Coulthard. In woorden van dezelfde strekking zei Rubens Barrichello. Tja, Tom, dan zitten we hier toch een beetje met gemeende gevoelens.
Ja, ik had deze situatie toch niet zo ingeschat zoals het was. We zagen het al dat er niet met champagne werd gespoten. We kennen uit ervaring, weten we natuurlijk dat dan een slecht teken is. Dat ze het ook zo heel duidelijk naar buiten brengen. Alle drie de coureurs ja, is toch een teken van medeleven. En natuurlijk ook van de teams. Er zal zeker wat aan gedaan worden. Er wordt al heel hard aan gewerkt voor vorig jaar. Maar het zal nu zeker het gespreksitem zijn binnen de Formule 1. Maar ja, daar niettemin, jongens. We blijven autoracen en we moeten gewoon aan de veiligheid werken. We zien nu dat de veiligheid van de coureurs heel goed in orde is. En we zouden nu de veiligheid van de mensen die de coureurs helpen wat aan moeten doen. Ik weet niet, ik heb er toch geen lekker...
And you're back with us at Albert Park, Melbourne, around about 130,000 people leaving very quietly indeed after an accident involving a track marshal. As soon as we know the extent of the injuries, we will let you know, of course, but no champagne after Michael Schumacher's victory here. Overall impressions, first of all, you, Mark.
Overall, I thought it was quite a good Grand Prix. I mean, there was lots of action, a few overtaking manoeuvres. Reliability, big issue. Not many people finish, which is a problem, but the key players in the game, Ferrari and McLaren, got their cars to the end.
Let's go to the press conference.
Australian Grand Prix, it's the winner, Michael Schumacher, from Michael and Rubens. Thank you, Michael.
There we are then, Michael Schumacher, David Coulthard and Rubens Barrichello, really reflecting very sombre mood here at Albert Park, Melbourne, where a track marshal has been killed in the first Grand Prix of 2001. We'll be right back. You're back with us at Melbourne, where Michael Schumacher has won the first Grand Prix of the season, but tragically a track marshal has lost his life. Craig Pollock, top man at BAR, is joining us now. Craig, Jacques Villeneuve, of course, your man was very much involved in that incident, and I would think there's a deep sense of shock down there.
At the end of the race, we're going to be celebrating something, and it's never nice when somebody dies. I would just like to send sincere condolences to the family. There's not much we can say because we don't know the full circumstances round about the accident, exactly how it happened, why it happened, but it's just a very, very sad thing when somebody dies.
But just like Paolo Ghizlimberti at Monza, it seems to be in a tyre that has caused the marshal's death. That shouldn't happen, really.
Well, unfortunately, it is a dangerous sport. The tyre did come off the car. Obviously, the car was fully legal. It is very sad.
Any lessons? I know it's very, very early indeed, but any conclusions that you can draw at this stage?
I think it's impossible to draw conclusions if you don't have the full facts. But I think at the moment, certainly what our team are doing, we've reunited everybody. They've been fully informed that this has happened, and they'll be thinking about this poor person who's not there anymore. So I'm thinking about the family.
We appreciate you joining us. Thanks very much indeed, Craig.
Thank you.
Let's just have a look at the accident itself, Tony. And when it happened, we saw it was obviously a high-impact crash.
Massive impact. They're doing about 170 odd miles an hour down there in 7th gear. We heard Villeneuve talking about seeing Ralph there in the middle of the track, and Villeneuve having to decide which way to go. He chose the option in a fraction of a second, clipped the back of the Williams BMW, and how the car didn't go over as well, I have no idea. But the point that we need to talk about now is the double wheel tethers which have been put in place. If, in fact, it was a wheel that hit the marshal, there's double wheel tethers in place this year, and it's meant to be designed to stop them coming off.
Mark?
I think two schools of thought on that. I mean, years ago there was no tethers, and at some point the wheel would come off, and it would come off very quickly. Now there's some possibility that the tether's in place and maybe it restricts the wheel on the car for maybe too long, and then when it does come off, it comes off at extra velocity. But let's be clear, we don't know whether the wheel was involved.
Jim, all I'd say on that is that it's 9mm, these two sort of ropes, if you like, which steel hawser type ropes which go all the way through the wishbones, then are anchored deep down in the chassis. If they're pulled on together, it's a resistance of something like about 9 tons, which it should be able to resist, and the second one that should be in place. But as some of the mechanics pointed out to me, when the suspension gets sheared, it can also shear through the cords as well, and that could have happened. We can only speculate at this point.
Is the sheer speed that we've seen here this weekend in any way to blame?
No, I mean, that's just racing. I mean, you know, technology, progression, there's a reduction in downforce, there's less drag, cars cleaner through the air, there's more grip from tyres, there's more speed, but that's an accident which could have happened whether you were doing 100 miles an hour and maybe not 150, but the consequences are grave, and you know, it's certainly a tough thing.
Let's reflect the race itself, and before we leave everybody, what about when the safety car came out for, what was it, 25 minutes, wasn't it, Mark? How big an effect did that have?
It's a big effect on the race completely. Everybody tactically has to put their heads in gear and see what they can do with fuel, tyre wear, but the boys at Ferrari did it best, and they came off well, but it's something I can reflect on very easily.
And Michael Schumacher, although is very sad up there, understandably so, I mean, his season is off and running.
Yeah, and as we were saying at the beginning of the programme, if it's a big role for Ferrari, as McLaren may fear, this is the sort of start that Ferrari would want. And it's all based around the continuity. And there's one guy that was mentioned briefly, is Paolo Martinelli, who's done such incredible work on the Ferrari engine. And that whole car has evolved over the winter. Incredible amount of work. They were almost the last here, Ferrari, which raised speculation as to the fact that they might not have passed their crash impact tests. But apparently they had no problem at all. So they were still unsure that the car would go the full distance. 41 laps into their last test at Mugello, the gearbox went, so that didn't give them good thoughts before they arrived.
The problem that you've got now is that McLaren will be going home scratching their heads. Mika Hakkinen came off the racetrack very fast, and we don't know why yet, and that's going to rest on their minds all the way back for Malaysia.
He went hard into the tyres as well, Hakkinen down there, and he was. We heard Adrian Newey talking before. He was a little bit maybe concussed, so that's food for thought for him.
Right, Tony, Mark, thank you very much indeed. Let me just remind you there is another chance to see the race at 1:30 this lunchtime. Highlights just before midnight, and a repeat of the highlight show, as always, on ITV2 at 7 o'clock. Well, Michael Schumacher has thrown down the red gauntlet here, but all our thoughts are with the track marshal who has given his life at the first Grand Prix of 2001. Good night, you all.
One more here.
Ladies and gentlemen, on a day where 128,500 people attended this track and 380,000 people over 4 days, it's with great regret that we announce the death of one of our brother track officials in tragic circumstances. It's very unfortunate when you consider the amount of people that come here and the great precautions that are taken, particularly by the FIA and CAMS, that such a tragic thing should happen on a day like this. However, I can assure you that everything was done to make sure that the track was safe. The track was inspected twice today by the FIA, and my colleague from CAMS will answer any questions along with myself if you happen to have any. The family have been notified of the accident, and everything will be done within our power, as the public would expect, to take care of the family during such tragic circumstances. Peter?
Thank you. On behalf of CAMS and the entire motorsports community in Australia, it's with deep regret that we announce that one of our officials has died at the Grand Prix circuit today, and our sympathy is extended to the family. Thank you.
Do we have a name? So can you give us a name for that gentleman?
We can't release the name just yet.
Can you give us an approximate age or an age?
Approximately 50 years of age.
Was he Australian?
Yes, he was Australian.
Did he die at the track or at hospital?
At hospital, that's the information we have at the moment.
Can you give us an idea of the injuries that he suffered?
Speaking to the microphone. We are not aware of exactly what the injuries were.
Do you know what he was hit with? What part of the car?
No, we don't know what he was hit with.
How old and where from?
He was Australian, and he was approximately 50 years of age.
How many other people were he?
He was a track marshal.
Was he on the inside or the outside of the fence?
I don't know where he was.
Why did the ambulance appear to slow and give way to the Grand Prix race rather than rush him to hospital if he was still alive?
I can't comment on that. I don't have all the details.
We understand he died at the track.
I can't comment on that. That's not the information we have.
So what happens now? What sort of inquiries and what sort of changes can we expect?
For a start, there will be a coronial inquiry, which is required under Victorian law, and we will assist the coroner with that inquiry.
Who's liable in this case? Is there a legal obligation on the part of the Grand Prix Corporation? Or if someone is killed, what's the situation?
I can't comment on that, but there obviously is, for an event like this, a public liability insurance.
The marshal apart, how many people have been involved in the incident or injured?
Approximately, let me just see here. 7 other people were treated at the hospital for minor injuries.
Spectators or other marshals?
Spectators, as we understand it.
Were the dead man's family at the circuit?
I beg your pardon?
Were the dead man's family at the circuit?
I don't think so.
Mr. Walker, will this
yes, the daughter was here.
Review of fence height or other safety provisions?
No, I don't think so. I happen to be a member of the FIA Commission, and this is reviewed regularly, and all steps have been taken to comply exactly with what the FIA laid down. Mr. Charlie Whiting has, as I said to you before, inspected the track on 2 occasions today. The track is inspected every day, and we do comply. We have a certificate to run the race, and we do comply with all the rules and regulations.
Did a wheel just go through a gap in the fence, Mr. Walker?
Well, I'm not suggesting what happened at the moment. The FIA haven't brought down its findings, and I think we should reserve our judgment until that finding is brought down. But all I can say to you is that the family will be looked after, regardless of the insurance, in the way the public would expect us to look after.
What do you mean by that, Mr. Walker? How will they be looked after?
Well, I think we'll just leave that from what I just said.
Why didn't you stop the race?
Well, it's not up to me to stop the race. It's up to the officials to look after that, which is Cam's run the race.
Why didn't Cam stop the race?
We have no further comments to make at this point in time. Thank you.
Ron, couldn't you take the lead and investigate and perhaps next year provide more protection for the volunteer track masters?
Well, I think that everything is being done worldwide under the FIA laws to protect everybody, and we comply exactly to the letter. That's why we receive a certificate every year to run the race. So
it's the second dead marshal in 6 months.
Yeah, you comply, it doesn't mean it can't be made better.
Well, I think we'll just leave it at that, because if you want to build a concrete wall right around the track, you won't have any spectators. Let's leave it at that.
Craig Pollock, we've just seen a huge accident involving Jacques Villeneuve, but miraculously he got out of the car.
Well, exactly, it was miraculous. If you take a look at the accident, it wasn't funny. We don't want that to happen to anybody, but obviously where I'm concerned with Jacques, it means an awful lot. It looked like something happened with Ralph Sanchin, couldn't be avoided. We'll see, we'll know from Williams, but let's just hope he's okay.
Thank you very much, Craig.
Tarso Marquez, the end of a difficult weekend for you. I think you did 3 laps. What happened then?
I had a problem with the battery. Since the first lap, the car started to have some misfire on the engine, and after the second lap and third lap, it got worse, and the car stopped in the middle of the track.
Now, there seemed to be quite a messy start all down the order of the grid. How did you see the first couple of laps?
We still have the same problem during all weekend with brakes. You know, we are locking the rear wheels and doesn't have enough brake in the front. So that is a shame because we couldn't go slow during all weekend. Couldn't go fast during all weekend. And for the race, I did a good start. I passed, I think, 2 or 3 cars, but the engine started to cut and I lost power. Then everybody passed back and they stopped.
Bad luck in Malaysia. See you there.
Ron Dennis, we've just seen Mika Häkkinen go off in quite a big way. What did you see of the accident?
Well, he wasn't complaining of any problem. Obviously on the TV he appeared sideways. We want to speculate whether he made a mistake or something happened on the car at this stage. The important thing is that he's unhurt and there's 16 more races to go.
He hasn't said anything to you on the pit radio before he got out?
No, he jumped straight out of the car.
Thanks, Ron. Juan Pablo Montoya, you were going very well then, and then a lot of smoke and the engine.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed because it was a very good race, to be honest. It was a bit too great in the start and went straight through. But, you know, it's quite, you know, everything experience, and I'm pretty happy with the result.
But on the first lap, you got pushed wide, and then you fought your way back up the order. You were going to be the last person to come into the pits. It was looking good.
I was looking actually really good. I made I got a great start of the line, and then I made a mistake in the first corner. I locked the front tires. And I don't know, you know, I had like 4 cars in the start, so I was a bit too greedy, but those things happen. I'm pretty happy with the result anyway.
Next time, thank you.
Guys, steady, steady. Just, hey, hey,
Don't push, please.
No pushing.
Please.
No pushing.
We've been waiting. Okay. Here we are at the Qatar.
Just take it steady, guys.
McLaren's team, and Mika Häkkinen is here. Just, Mika, how are you feeling?
Well, after the shunt like that, obviously I cannot say. I don't feel very fantastic at the moment. Obviously the spin at that speed is always something which leaves you lose cars inside you.
Nice,
and,
easy.
Again, hitting a wall in that speed, you know, it's very unpleasant. Obviously, we just have to now understand what caused the problem. We don't know yet, obviously, but we have to understand it because problems like that, when you're going that speed, you know, it can be very painful sometimes.
And what did the medical officers say to you?
It was just a very general checkout, you know. Bang your head quite hard in the tires, so we have to just make a general checkout for the body, that way everything's fine.
And early reports are it was either suspension or brakes. Do we know yet? It's hard to tell.
Yes, it's hard to tell. We don't know yet, but the car will be back soon, and then the boys will study what went wrong, and then we'll know more. You know.
Was immediately the problem?
What?
Was suddenly happened? Suddenly any warning before?
It didn't give me any sign at all for the problem, you know. It's just, you know, I realized that my lap time started dropping a little bit. I was able to not push the good times anymore. And then a couple laps later, you know, went in third last corner and went on the brakes, and it just suddenly, you know, lost the control of the car and the braking. It happens so quick, you know. It happens in 300 kilometers per hour, and it happens so fast, so quick. The driver, it's impossible to do anything. The driver is more or less passenger in that situation, so I was quite fortunate to come out of that without any injury. Unfortunate to have even that kind of situation, you know.
Did you speak to your family in that moment?
Yeah, I called to my wife Eri already. tell her everything is fine, and it was important.
Okay, guys, thank you very much.
Okay?
Ja, okay.
Ralf, zunächst, wie geht's Ihnen körperlich?
Ja, mir geht's glücklicherweise gut, im Jack auch, aber viel schlimmer ist, dass ich wieder einen Marschall erwischt habe mit einem Reifen, glaube ich. Können wir mal, could you step a bit back, otherwise we have to stop. Sorry, okay? Everyone is gonna get his answer. Hast du aufgehört?
You will.
Ja gut, leider Gottes das.
Ron, now we are a step further, the first race, so what do you think?
A little frustrating. I think our racing strategy would have won us the race. Vicker could have kept in touch, but of course we have to make no excuses. We had a car failure of some sort, certainly not a driving error. We're not be wrong to speculate, but it's our problem, not his. David did a superb race, overtook all the cars, and we supplemented to come up to second, and we supplemented that with a good pit stop strategy that really stopped Barrichello being a threat. Michael was probably backing off a little bit, so we have a little bit of work to do, but we can, I think we'll be strong in the racing.
If the competition is so close like Formula One, how long does it take to catch up?
Surprised actually that the rest of the field seemed to be less competitive in the race than in qualifying. We seem to have most of Ferrari and ourselves seem to have about a second on most of the grid, so that should make it a more interesting season. We have to concentrate on Ferrari, and they did a good job. They deserve to win, but until the next races, we know what we have to do.
Thank you. Juan, what stopped your first successful race?
I had a problem with the engine. A bit disappointed with that, but I think BMW and Williams did a fantastic job. I think Mitchell and Tire were holding really well, especially at the end of the run. I did my fastest lap the lap before, and it was looking actually quite good.
So how much racing fun was it compared to America?
It's a lot of fun, I gotta admit. I thought overtaking was gonna be impossible, but you gotta really plan it, because if you try to overdrive all the time, you kill the tires, and something that I was just learning through the race. But you can get to pass people, and it's quite exciting actually.
So what do you think? How competitive will you be now over the season?
I think we can look quite good. I think through the season the car will be getting stronger and stronger, so I'm quite confident.
Thank you.
So the Australian Grand Prix has been marred by the death of a trackside marshal, but we are now going to look at the race itself and the start. Tony Jardine, Schumacher away and gone, but problems for David Coulthard.
Yeah, it was the most frenetic start. I mean, it's a classic beginning of the season, race number one. Just look at this. Schumacher makes a great start. Coulthard trying to get through the middle there. Look, he's got Frentzen actually banging wheels with him while Trulli tries to go down the inside. Look at this lot all here. Montoya's going onto the grass. They're all jostling for position. They're all over the place. As I say, but Hakkinen got through into second place. Frentzen through into third place. Hakkinen did very well from second on the grid. Look at it again. And look at Coulthard in the middle. He took a right bash on the wheels there from Heinz-Harald Frentzen and still managed to keep it going. And there's the rookie Montoya in his first Grand Prix. He'd been itching for that start, but he lost it all at the beginning on the grass.
We've seen pile-ups at that first corner before here in Australia. How close were we to another one there?
It could have been very close to that. I mean, banging wheels at that kind of speed could have created a lot of problems, but Frentzen got away with it, Coulthard got away with it, and off we went.
Well, Frentzen might have got away with it there, but then Rubens Barrichello did a real number on him, didn't he?
Yeah, Ruby just put his nose in there a little bit too late, and consequently just tapped Frentzen round. But that's racing, and I'm sure they have a word about it ready for Malaysia, but I don't think there'll be any hard feelings.
Really, that's racing? It doesn't go any further than that?
Well, it shouldn't do, Jim. This is a situation. Look, Rubens goes in, he is a little bit too late. Unfortunately, taps Frentzen around. He spins, keeps going low. Yes, it's ruined Frentzen's race to a degree, but it is racing.
Let's talk about your old team for a bit, about McLaren and Mika Hakkinen blowing out of this race here.
Yeah, not good at all. I mean, we see that there. The car goes off at incredible speed. There's either a suspension failure or something along those lines to put him off at that speed. Obviously not a driver error, I don't think. And you can see he's a little bit rejected. Not good. We've got to look at that and see whether they can correct it for Malaysia.
He looks pretty upset there. Unusual for that sort of thing to happen to a McLaren.
Very unusual. I mean, those guys at McLaren are so good on detail work. Everything is tested strenuously. Many, many miles go on the track testing their parts as well. And I'm sure they will analyse that and will come back stronger than ever.
Tony, David Coulthard had a good one here, and well, he muscled out Barrichello, really giving him a taste of his own medicine, didn't he?
Yeah, we think Rubens got it very slightly wrong before that, but this is David, as he's good at going round the outside. He did that in France last year on Michael Schumacher. And when he's hustling like that, it's great to watch, and that's the sort of aggression that he needs. He also says this year that he must make mediocre races into good races. That's what he's done today and got 6 points, so good for him.
You raced against Juan Pablo Montoya over in the States, haven't you? And he's made a very impressive Formula One debut.
He has indeed, and yeah, looking at this footage here, the Williams is not an easy car to drive at this precise time, but he was impressive, and he was the fastest Michelin runner. But it didn't last. Engine blew. BMW said they were going to go all guns firing, but they're only smoking at this point, Jim.
Yeah, there we are. Sad end to Juan Pablo, but I'm sure we'll hear a lot more of him, and indeed a lot more from the two of you during the season. Thanks very much indeed. Right, some other views now of the first race of 2001.
Heinz, how that race went wrong for you in the opening laps, didn't it?
Yeah, probably have seen what happened. A little incident with Rubens. He never gave up trying to keep in front of me, and basically I was already almost full car on his side, and if he kept it a little bit open, it would have been difficult for me to overtake, but he just closed on me and then we touched. And I think I lost, you know, the toes on my car, because the front tire, the left front was you could see there was losing grip, and the car wasn't the same left to right. This happens. Race situations. It can happen all the time, but we are looking good, and that's the most important thing.
Nick, congratulations. You waited a whole year for your first Grand Prix points. How does it feel now you've got them?
Oh, it's excellent to finally having scored some points. Also, the race was really good. I got a lot of pressure in the end, which was basically fun, because I managed to cope with the pressure.
The evidence this weekend is that you've been running very strong, and Ferrari have got a great racing car.
Yeah, great racing car, and I'm feeling better and better inside the car. So I should have a better year, even though the first race went a little bit like that.
Gents, a bit of a tough day for you today.
Yeah, it has been quite tough. Hasn't been the best weekend ever. But no, the race was pretty good to start with. But then I had to stop, go penalty. I'm not quite sure what for. And then the engine, I don't know what the problem was, but it wasn't at full speed. So there you go. I think we got some mileage on the engine, so that's one bonus. But that's about it.
How long before this car comes good, you reckon?
Well, hopefully as soon as possible, but I don't really know. But as long as we just see improvements, I think it was good that Giancarlo finished the race. I think hopefully we'll have a lot of data so we can go quick next time. See you later.
But Park Melbourne, a very sombre place to be this evening following the death of the trackside marshal from Queensland. The Australian Grand Prix, though, did take place here, of course. Let me just confirm the points scorers for you. Back-to-back victories for Michael Schumacher in Australia. Coulthard, second place in between the Ferraris. Panis doing well on his BAR debut, and good performance from Heidfeld as well. Frentzen making his point for Jordan. The top three, though, understandably downbeat when they chatted to us afterwards.
It's obviously a very sad day. Can you sum up your feelings and those of the rest of the drivers?
Obviously, we just got to know that the marshal had died just before the podium, so we decided not to commemorate the podium, basically. And it's very unfortunate to lose a colleague that was working for us and was enjoying his day there. And you know, after all, we had a race. It was fun out there, but you know, you feel sad that happened.
Well, clearly the rules, which have a sort of Kevlar tie strap to hold the wheel in place, are a gesture in the right direction, but not strong enough. And with sort of velocities that you see of acceleration when a wheel is knocked off a car, it might be very difficult to ever contain a wheel to the chassis itself. So maybe what you're doing is looking at the circuits to put higher fences, you know, to really create a situation where they're curved over at the top, so it's increasingly unlikely for a wheel to make it as far as the crowd. The marshals are always going to have to be close enough to watch what the cars are actually doing, but you know, we're getting to a time now where we have flag signals in the car with lights,
And it may come to the point where we actually don't need the marshals to be right there beside the track, and they can just be brought on when there's debris and things like that, because you know, a wheel accelerated off a car at that speed. You know, no one can duck and try and avoid that.
Driver safety has improved so much over the recent years. Do you think that maybe the safety of the marshals and the people outside the circuit has been overlooked?
It's where do you think you have to... Obviously the typical question, it's coming after things happen like that. And after what happened in Monza and after what happened now, as I said before, we have to improve, certainly, because it's not possible that we improve driver safety better and better, and we may not, after what's happening, we see now issues in a different area, and people who try to save our lives, we have to do everything to save their lives as well.
We are all trying to improve all areas, whether it be you know, for the marshals, the caterers, but it's not until you have incidents that you really become aware of things. You know, if, you know, in the benefit of hindsight, we could all do lots of things differently with our lives, but we have to go through the pain of these learning experiences, unfortunately, to improve things for the future.
The driver's view then on the tragedy in Melbourne. Now let's hear from a man who's campaigned ceaselessly for safety throughout his life. That's Jackie Stewart, responding to the news that a flying wheel had killed the marshal.
Well, we just have to go. We have to look at it. We have to go to the best universities of dynamics and see if there's something more that we can anchor them to, and something more that we can use to hose them to that vehicle. We've got to be sure that, you know, they will flail around, and it's very tough to get away from it completely.
Thank you, Jackie. Thanks for your time.
Now, Mark Blundell, how will the drivers involved in this accident, Ralf Schumacher and Jacques Villeneuve, be feeling?
Obviously, they're going to feel very upset over the whole situation, as all the drivers will, and everybody down the pit lane concerned with Formula One. But you know, it is very tough. It's emotionally tough on those guys that finished that race. They would like to celebrate, but it's not right to do that. I mean, we've had a loss of life. But those marshals, we couldn't race without them, but at the same point, those marshals love the sport as much as what we do as drivers.
Tony, when we looked at the accident during the race, all three of us up here had a sharp intake of breath.
It's alarming because, you know, Schumacher was in the middle of the track.
Gesponsord door Compact.